Special thanks to you all, our dear viewers and subscribers. We are happy to have you here today.
Valentine's Day is meant to be a celebration of love, appreciation, and meaningful connections. However, not all gifts come with pure intentions. Some gifts may carry spiritual consequences, hidden motives, or even curses disguised as acts of love. In this video, we'll uncover 5 types of gifts you should never accept on Valentine's Day and why you must be discerning in what you receive.
Daddy, I had scary dream overnight.
Really? What was the dream about?
I heard a dream that I was given certain gifts, very beautiful gifts for that matter. But after 3 days, I started facing issues in my maritals, finance, and even my health status began to suffer. If I sleep a little, I dream of people trying to give me more gifts. So that was how I woke up from my sleep.
Wow. God really cares about you. For you to see this dream ahead, that is a serious warning from God to you.
Ah. But I thought gifts are harmless and a show of love and appreciation.
You are right. But let me explain things to you. Valentine's Day is meant to be a celebration of love, appreciation, and meaningful connections. However, not all gifts come with pure intentions. Some gifts may carry spiritual consequences, hidden motives, or even curses disguised as acts of love. But let me tell you 6 types of gifts you should never accept on Valentine's Day and why you must be discerning in what you receive.
1. A gift from someone you know is not right for you.
Not every gift is a blessing. Some gifts are spiritual traps meant to pull you back into places that God has already delivered you from. Sometimes, a gift comes from a person you know deep down is not aligned with God's plan for your life. It could be an ex trying to reconnect, a person from your past who is not meant to be in your future, someone with bad intentions, a manipulative individual who only gives gifts to gain influence or control over you, a person God has warned you about, someone who does not respect your boundaries or your faith. While receiving a gift may seem harmless, accepting it can reopen doors that God has already closed. The enemy often uses familiar people to pull us back into old patterns, unhealthy relationships, and emotional or spiritual bondage.
Wow. This is thoughtful.
Do you remember what 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14 says? Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? God calls us to guard our hearts, Proverbs 4 verse 23, and be careful about the relationships we entertain. A person's gift does not change their true nature. If they are not meant to be in your life, no amount of sweet words or material things can make them right for you. Do you know why you should reject it? It can pull you back into unhealthy attachments. A gift can seem like an innocent gesture, but it may carry emotional strings that reconnect you to someone God told you to move on from. It can be a form of manipulation. Some people give gifts not out of love, but as a way to guilt trip, control, or make you feel obligated to them. It can open spiritual doors. If God removed someone from your life, their return, even in the form of a gift, could be a test to see if you'll trust Him or go back to what He freed you from.
It can be a form of manipulation. Some people give gifts not out of love, but as a way to guilt trip, control, or make you feel obligated to them. Really, this is serious.
Yes. You need to always remember that. Trust God's guidance. If you feel uneasy about a gift, pray for wisdom before accepting it. The Holy Spirit will reveal when something is not right. Set boundaries. Just because someone gives you a gift does not mean you have to accept it. Your peace and spiritual well-being are worth more than any material thing. Remember, not every gift is a blessing. Some gifts are designed to pull you away from your purpose. A gift with wrong intentions is a trap, not a treasure. Gifts should come from a place of love, purity, and godly intentions. If a gift is tied to manipulation, past soul ties, or ungodly influences, it is better to reject it than to allow it to bring confusion and unnecessary battles into your life.
Yes, sir.
Please give us your supports by liking this video so others can also get to learn from it. Thanks in advance for subscribing. We trust that you would.
2. Gifts with unholy or inappropriate themes.
Valentine's Day should be a celebration of genuine love, respect, and God-honoring relationships. But unfortunately, many gifts exchanged on this day promote lust, impurity, and sexual immorality rather than true love. The world often distorts the meaning of love, making it about physical desire and temporary pleasure instead of commitment, purity, and honor. Some gifts may seem harmless on the surface, but carry hidden dangers that can compromise your values and spiritual walk. These can include explicit or sensual gifts that encourage sexual sin or temptation, items with inappropriate messages that glorify impurity rather than godly love, books or movies that promote ungodly relationships, perversion, or dishonor biblical principles, jokes or gag gifts that make light of sin or mock purity. The enemy often uses subtle things to lure believers into spiritual compromise. A simple, worldly Valentine's gift can seem small, but if it leads to impure thoughts, actions, or behaviors that separate you from God, it is not worth accepting.
At this point, there is no doubt that there is more to giftings, not solely for appreciation, but can also serve as a trap to make one feel obligated to what might come in the future, which might be against one's wish.
Exactly. You get it. 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 3-4 says, "It is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality, that each of you should learn to control your own body in a way that is holy and honorable." As believers, we are called to set ourselves apart from the world's way of thinking about love and relationships. What may be considered normal by society may not align with God's holy and righteous standard. Why you should reject it? Because it opens the door to temptation. Even something as simple as a sensual gift or an appropriate joke can plant seeds that grow into spiritual struggles. It distorts God's plan for love. True love respects, protects, and honors. Lust uses, degrades, and dishonors. Anything that fuels lust moves you away from God's vision for relationships. It can create guilt and spiritual conflict. If a gift encourages impurity or dishonors God, you may feel torn between your faith and your emotions. A gift should never make you feel spiritually compromised.
I can relate with the part of opening doors to temptation and distorting God's plan for us.
Exactly. This is what to do instead. Choose gifts that celebrate love in a godly and honorable way. Something meaningful, thoughtful, and pure will bring joy and peace rather than guilt or temptation. If you receive an inappropriate gift, politely refuse it. If the person who gave it truly values you, they will respect your boundaries and faith. Pray for wisdom in handling relationships and never compromise your values for the sake of pleasing someone. Love that is built on purity and respect will always stand stronger than love that is built on lust and worldly desires. If a gift does not align with God's will, it is not a blessing, it is a trap.
Yes, sir.
3. Items that were originally given to an example.
Some gifts carry more than just monetary value, they carry memories, emotions, and even soul ties from past relationships. Imagine receiving a beautiful necklace, a piece of clothing, or even a sentimental trinket, only to later find out it was once a gift from an example. Even if the giver claims it has no meaning to them anymore, such items can hold lingering emotions and attachments that may subtly affect your relationship. At first, it may seem practical to regift an item rather than discard it, but this act can bring unwanted emotional residue into your life. Every object holds a history, and receiving something tied to another person's past romance can bring unspoken comparisons, unresolved emotions, and even spiritual hindrances.
I have never seen it this way before. Gifts carry memories, emotions, and even soul ties from past relationships.
Exactly. Isaiah 43 verse 18. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. God calls us to move forward, not backward. Holding on to items that belong to a past romantic connection can keep doors open that should have been closed, preventing full healing and growth in current relationships. This is why you should reject it. Emotional baggage. Objects from past relationships can carry sentimental value, consciously or subconsciously affecting the new relationship. Unhealthy soul ties. Holding on to an ex's gift, even when given to someone else, can keep spiritual or emotional connections alive. Disrespect to the new relationship. It may seem small, but receiving a recycled gift can create an unseen emotional intrusion into your relationship. Negative spiritual energy. If a previous relationship ended in heartbreak, pain, or toxic experiences, an item linked to that past can carry those negative memories into your space.
I see. Emotional baggage and negative spiritual energy.
Yes. This is what to do instead. Encourage gifts that are new, meaningful, and intentional. Something chosen specifically for you, not repurposed from another relationship. Pray for discernment before accepting gifts, especially if something feels off about the item. If you receive a used gift unknowingly and later discover its origins, consider removing it from your life to prevent any emotional or spiritual ties to the past. If you are the giver, never re-gift items from a past relationship. It's better to start fresh than to bring old baggage into a new chapter. A true gift should symbolize new beginnings, not old attachments. If something carries memories from a past relationship, it has no place in your present or future.
No wonder.
4. Expensive gifts with strings attached.
Not all grand gestures of love are genuine, some come with a hidden agenda. An extravagant gift can sometimes be a tool of control, manipulation, or emotional debt. While it may seem flattering to receive luxury items, expensive jewelry, or costly trips, you must ask yourself, does this gift come with expectations I may not be willing to fulfill? People with ulterior motives often use lavish gifts as a form of leverage, expecting something in return. These expectations might not always be spoken outright, but they manifest in subtle ways, such as guilt-tripping you into doing things you wouldn't normally do, creating a sense of obligation, as if you owe them something in return, using past gifts against you in arguments to demand favors, commitment, or loyalty, forcing emotional attachment where there is no genuine connection.
This is very true, sir.
Some may even try to buy your forgiveness after hurting you, using expensive gifts as a way to sweep their wrongdoings under the rug. But a material item cannot replace genuine love, respect, and accountability. Proverbs 22 verse 7. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. God warns us that when someone gives with the intent to control, they make the receiver feel like a debtor rather than a loved one. Instead of gifts being a blessing, they become a tool of power, guilt, or manipulation. This is why you should reject it. If a gift makes you feel pressured, uncomfortable, or trapped, it is not truly given out of love. Manipulative gift giving can be a form of emotional or financial bondage, making you feel obligated to the giver. Expensive gifts from ungodly or toxic relationships can bind you to unhealthy connections that God may want you to walk away from. A gift that comes with expectations attached is not a gift, it's a contract in disguise.
Yes, sir. I understand.
This is what you should do instead. Accept gifts that come from a pure heart, given without pressure or expectation. Pray for discernment before receiving expensive gifts, especially if the giver has a questionable character or a history of manipulation. If you sense that a gift is a trap, it is better to politely refuse it than to end up entangled in a web of obligations. Remember that true love is not bought, it is shown through actions, respect, and sincerity. A good gift should bring joy, not pressure. It should feel like a blessing, not a burden. If someone's generosity feels like a leash, it's not generosity, it's control.
Yes, sir. I think that is how to keep my sanity.
5. Gifts with occult or mystical symbols.
Not all gifts are as innocent as they seem. Some objects, especially those with occult symbols, mystical engravings, or strange markings, may carry deep spiritual implications. These items could be tied to witchcraft, New Age practices, or ungodly rituals, even if they appear harmless at first glance. The enemy often disguises spiritual traps as beautiful or intriguing objects, luring and suspecting individuals into dangerous territory. Some of the most common spiritually compromised gifts include jewelry with occult symbols, pentagrams, all-seeing eyes, serpent imagery, or other mystic engravings, ram catchers, crystals, or charms that claim to have energy or protection properties, artifacts from unknown or ungodly sources, especially if they originate from ritualistic cultures or have been used in religious ceremonies outside of God's will.
The enemy often disguises spiritual traps as beautiful or intriguing objects, luring unsuspecting individuals into dangerous territory. I see. This is serious.
Yes, it is. Deuteronomy 7 verse 26 says, "Do not bring a detestable thing into your house, or you, like it, will be set apart for destruction. Regard it as vile and utterly detest it, for it is set apart for destruction." When you accept and bring such items into your home, you unknowingly invite their spiritual influence into your life. What may seem like a harmless bracelet or a beautifully carved figurine could actually be an open doorway for demonic oppression, nightmares, or spiritual attacks. This is why you should reject it. Many occultic objects have been prayed over or consecrated for dark purposes, making them spiritually dangerous. They can act as a spiritual foothold for the enemy, leading to oppression, confusion, or disturbing dreams. Keeping such items in your home can hinder your prayers and spiritual growth, even if you are unaware of their origins. Pray for discernment before accepting any gift, especially those with unfamiliar symbols or spiritual claims.
This is the exact focus of the terrible dream I had overnight. I'm glad God showed me earlier.
Yes. Be thankful to God for showing you.
Yes, Daddy.
If you feel uneasy about a gift, do not dismiss that feeling. God often warns His people through the Holy Spirit. If you already have such an item, pray over it and dispose of it properly. Do not pass it on to someone else. Fill your home with God's presence by keeping only items that align with His Word and promote righteousness. Many people unknowingly invite spiritual oppression into their lives simply by accepting the wrong gifts. Stay vigilant, walk in discernment, and always put God first when deciding what to bring into your life. Not every gift is a blessing. Some are spiritual traps in disguise.
Yes, sir. I have really learned a lot from you today, Daddy. Valentine's Day is a time to celebrate love. But not all gifts are given in love. Some come with spiritual consequences, hidden motives, or ties to past relationships. As believers, we must walk in wisdom and discernment when receiving gifts. Pray over every gift before accepting it. Trust your spirit. If something feels off, don't take it. Seek God's wisdom in relationships and friendships.
Yes. Good girl. I'm glad you had the opportunity to learn.
Have you ever received a gift that didn't sit right with you? Share your experience in the comments. Please don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening teachings on faith, wisdom, and spiritual discernment.